Hello, Home Daily Bible Readings. We're at Friday, June 19th, Wisdom Present and Active During Creation. So what we find here is Proverbs 8:22 through 31. And in looking at those verses, now wisdom toots her own horn. Wisdom talks about where she was and what she was doing. She is active during creation. Verse 22, the Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way before his works of old. So we found before the foundations of the earth, we find when he created the earth, wisdom says she was there before his works of old. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was. So wisdom talks about everlasting. We know that we have everlasting life. We know that God is from everlasting. He is from before the beginning. God is. And wisdom says she's right there beside him. When there were no depths, I was brought forth. So this refers back to the book of Genesis. In the book of Genesis, when there was no depths, we go, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, and then he separated the water from the water, or the firmament from the firmament. He called the water to separate from dry land. He called all kinds of things to happen, and wisdom says, I was here when there were no depths, when it was just void, and without anything. God called forth wisdom, and there she is from the beginning. When there were no fountains abounding with water, before it started being the ocean or the sea or whatever, wisdom was there. Before the mountains were settled, before the hills was I brought forth. That's what the scripture says about wisdom. While as yet he had not made the earth or the fields, nor the highest part of the dust of the earth, when he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he set a compass upon the face of the depth, I was there. And when he established the clouds above, when he strengthened the fountains of the deep. So it talks about all of these things that happened, and he had called wisdom to come forth and look at these things and work with these things and be about these things. When he gave to the sea his decree that the water should not pass his commandment, when he appointed the fountains of the earth, then was I by him. So wisdom says, hey, I was right there when God said this should happen, when God said that should happen, when we are decreeing and declaring that there is the mountains and the fountains of the deep, wisdom was there. Then I was by him as one brought up with him, and I was daily his delight. So if we go through Genesis 1 and God does his creation, wisdom says I was daily his delight, because he used wisdom to do those things. Rejoicing always before him, rejoicing in the habitable part of his earth. And my delights were with the sons of men. So wisdom tells you where she was, gives you her beginning. Wisdom is the principal thing. And with all thy getting, get an understanding. So these scriptures tells you where wisdom came from, what wisdom was all about, how wisdom worked with God, how God brought wisdom into everything that he did. God did it. All right. So that's Home Daily Bible Reading, Proverbs 8:22 through 31, wisdom present and active during creation. God bless.